All right, so for this reflection, we were asked to talk about how PBL was in our shadows and our weather recordings and stuff. So I made this little anchor chart or poster. It's a small version, but I did PBL and I did the shadows to connect the um, with the shadow activity. And so in the letters are parts of PBL that were used in this activity and these recordings, and things outside were things that we missed. So for things that we hit on where we used communication, so talking amongst our groups, making sure we all had the same data and that the data was being recorded into the Google spreadsheet. We designed and planned. We figured out what we were going to use to base our shadows off of, like the standstill figure, not figure, but standstill object, and we planned how we were going to set it up and who was going to do what. We made connections, so later on we made connections on the fact that the later that the sun was rising, the shorter or longer the shadows were getting. Later on in class last Monday, project management. So we figured out who was going to record this stuff in the Google spreadsheet. We figured out who was going to take this stuff out there to record it, who was going to do the averages, who was going to record the temperatures. In our case, it was high temperatures, etc. Engaged, we were trying to, the whole time we were doing this, we were wondering, why are we going to do this? So that kept us engaged, and we were trying to figure out, what is the purpose of this, why are we doing this? And we sooner than later found out. Reflection, we had a reflection. One, this is a reflection, and then two, in class last Monday we had a reflection trying to figure out what was going on. And then after we kind of talked about the connections of temperatures, sunrises and whatnot, and sunsets, we make reflections on it. And exploration, we were able to take this idea that you had, Dr. James, and explore and try to figure it out. Time management, making sure we were going out at about the same time, going twice a day, and also making sure we didn't take too long out there since we did have class. Problem solving, once again, making those connections with the temperatures, sunrises, sunsets, and whatnot. Things that we missed of PBL in this were creative risks. So we weren't really, there was no really no creativity where, there was no room for creativity. Um, Design and plan. We were told what we needed. We were told we needed to go out there, find something, and measure it. We couldn't go and design and plan out if we wanted to do it. If we wanted to do something that was already out there, we could have created something and set it at the same spot, measured it out, etc. And then public product. There was no public product that we created with these observations. So in my classroom, I could use this activity and integrate 21st century skills. And so I kind of went through and did like 21st century skills on this little anchor chart / poster. So for critical thinking, we could have an overarching question: do shadows change in length day by day? And it could also go into hour by hour, or half a day by half a day, or weekly by weekly, etc. For literacy, you can have it to where they have access and they have resources available, whether it's media, books, technology, so they could watch videos and try to connect things. You can have books about shadows. You can have different websites available to them where they could explore and create different scenarios. Um, Leadership, you can have it to where there's jobs within the group. You have the recorder, you have the lead, like the person that's over making sure all measurements are accurate. You can have the note taker, etc. Different things, different jobs. You can also have it to where there's representatives of the group, so you can have like a leader of the group, the one that goes and collects, that reports all the data to other groups, or you as the teacher, or just in general. For creativity, you can have the students design a project, so you can have them like design or bring in an object that they want to take outside, and they have to measure for these shadows. You can have it to where they have to, for example, um, you can have it to where they create a figure out of clay, and they have to take it outside, and they have to put it in the exact same spot, so they have to measure out exactly where they have it. They can mark it with chalk if they want, or they can keep in their notebook exactly where it was, the measurement, etc. Measure the shadows. And then for collaboration, you have to where they, like we did, we worked in groups, and then you can also have it to where they pair groups to groups. So how each group was high temperature, low temperature, sunrise, sunset. You can have to where two groups record the highs and the high temps and the sunrises, and low temps and sunsets. You can do it in that way. Um, Communication, you can have students do shadow mail each week with the averages. So kind of how we had a Google Doc, that may not be necessarily ideal in the classroom. Maybe it just depends what district, what grade, and the type of students that you have. So you can create like shadow mail, where it's a slip where they have to fill out their averages from each day, their average from the week, and the average high temperature for the day or week, or whatever you require. Flexibility, you can give students loose guidelines and throw in a curveball maybe. So loose guidelines as in, like I said, create it like a clay figurine or something, and tell them, okay, you have to make sure you can create whatever you want, y'all can do whatever y'all want, y'all can create whatever y'all want to measure. Make sure it stays still though, but you have to make sure you put it in the exact same spot every single day. So, kind of loose guidelines. They know exactly what's expected of them, but they have that creativity and that freedom to do whatever they want when it comes to creating the object, and kind of picking out the spot that they want to place the object. You can throw in a curveball by randomly one day making them go do a second or third observation if you don't already have them doing that, or have them go do theirs but go observe another group's, try to compare, or just kind of make it like a competition, who has the largest shadow today. um, for social skills, the last part of the 21st century skills, you can have it to where it's group to group communication, kind of like how we had at the end. Intergroup communication, so making sure everyone's on the same page, everyone has the same data, everyone's on board, and everyone understands what's going on. Exit tickets, kind of like how we do, where you reflect and stuff. You come into where the exit ticket is like their average temperature, or something new that they have figured out that week about the shadows, maybe from them using the technology and the literacy and the resources that you provided for them. And then expert groups and anchor charts, kind of similar to what we had, where there was one person that was an expert in each group. You could have it to where you do that, or personally, I like it to where the group creates a project or an anchor chart, PowerPoint, whatever of their choice to present their data, and it's kind of like a showcase. So you'll have each group like present, but everyone, it's kind of like at history fair where you have your presentation and people are walking around looking. You necessarily don't have just one person staying there, it'll be the whole group and they have to present it, or it can just be a class presentation. I think it's cool to kind of do like the gallery walk type thing, but that's how I would change some aspects of the activity to meet the 21st century skills, and that's it.